Every day across Chicago, people with various disabilities use fixed route transit.
Images of transit use.
They travel on Metra, Pace, and CTA and find that fixed route gives them independence, pride, cost savings, self-confidence, empowerment, and freedom. This is Karen Tamley, Commissioner for the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities.
Well, I think once you're able to use fixed route, it is really a sense of freedom because you can take the bus and train whenever you want. You're not dependent on a ride for someone to come and pick you up. You know when the train is coming. You know when the bus is coming.
Images of passengers and transit use.
I think that there's just such a benefit to using fixed route because it's also more affordable than most other transit options. And people with disabilities can access either the reduced fare or the free ride program, which is another tremendous financial benefit and incentive to use the fixed route system.
Image of Albert Ramirez waiting in his wheelchair for the next bus.
Albert Ramirez is a graduate of the RTA's Travel Training Program. Like many others, he has learned how to get around the region using CTA, Pace fixed route, and Metra commuter rail service.
When I moved to the city, I figured that it would probably be really good for me to use city transportation, and so I learned about the program, and I had no problem then signing up and taking the classes. I was actually excited about it because I thought it was going to really allow me to navigate the city and be able to take advantage of everything that the city has to offer.
Images of Albert using automated machines to pay his fare and speaking to customer assistant.
Before I learned fixed route, it was time-consuming and rather expensive because you had to pay for parking anywhere that I went. And then having to unload the wheelchair, using fixed route, that's all really taken care of.
Albert says the training program has given him the freedom to explore the city and get to his favorite places.
Image of Albert boarding a CTA train.
Probably one of the most exciting places is Wrigley Field, as you can see in the background. I do frequent that on a regular basis. Otherwise, local neighborhood restaurants and theater are things that I've taken in also using fixed route transportation.
Images of Albert near Wrigley Field.
It's really allowed me to enjoy the city, and it gives you a sense of freedom and liberation. It's really been a very positive experience.
The trainer's perspective. Travel trainers are committed to helping trainees understand how to use fixed route transportation in their daily lives. Bob Chadha is a travel trainer and orientation and mobility specialist.
Well, I have a master's degree in orientation and mobility, which is a degree specializing in people working with visual impairments.
Image of man with a vision disability crossing the street with his service animal.
I work with the people's schedules, and we would set up a time to do an initial assessment to see what skills they would possibly need to learn.
This is travel trainer Suzanne Richards.
After the assessment, which usually takes about an hour, the trainer provides about an hour's worth of classroom training where we go over some skills that they would need to know prior to getting on public transportation.
Bob Chadha.
Then we target each goal and try to master them within the context of travel. So that could mean taking a bus route, taking a train route to some destination that is of importance to them.
Images of buses and trains.
Whether it being a job or some other type of leisure destination or something in the community that they need to learn to travel independently to.
Myths about travel training.
Images of trainer with trainee.
There are often misconceptions or myths that go along with the RTA Travel Training Program. This video will clear up those myths and help you to see the advantages of taking fixed route transportation throughout the city and suburbs. Myth number 1. I will lose my paratransit ride if I learn to use buses and trains. ADA Paratransit is an origin to destination public transportation service for people who cannot use fixed route buses or trains because of a disability. Your eligibility is based on disability-related or environmental barriers that keep you from riding fixed route service. Travel training helps you learn how to use buses or trains for trips where those barriers may not exist. This is Edward Wienand, a travel training program graduate.
When it goes below 40 degrees, another ice, or if there's snow on the ground where it makes it a little bit rough, I can use the paratransit unit. And that I just call a day before and give them the address where I can be picked up and the address that I'm going to.
Myth number 2. Travel by fixed route transportation is too difficult. It's not worth it. The fixed route system has many advantages and is easy once you learn how to use it. This is Carolyn Shaw, an RTA travel trainee.
Taking the CDT Pace van is very expensive for each trip, so I decided if I could take the bus sometimes for some of my short trips, to save money.
Images of Carolyn using her motorized scooter in transit.
Now that I have the equipment and the knowledge that I need, I feel very comfortable taking it.
This is Jason Brandt, another RTA travel trainee.
Some of the advantages for using fixed routes was it didn't cost me as much. It was cheaper, so it helped me to stay within my budget and get to throughout Chicagoland safely.
Other advantages of fixed route include increased spontaneity to travel when you want to, no need to book a ride a day in advance, complete independence. Myth number 3. My loved one won't be safe on fixed route. Safety is always the first priority in travel training. This is Darlene Little, the mother of a travel trainee.
Well, when my daughter Stacy was getting old enough to want to travel and want to be independent, I had applied for a paratransit card for her. And in that process, somebody called me and asked me if I would be interested in travel training for my daughter Stacy, and I was just ecstatic about that.
Images of young travel trainees.
Any parent that has a child with a disability, safety is a very, very important issue. And I know on this program they taught safety, stranger danger, about who to talk to if there should be a problem.
Myth number 4. My loved one won't be able to understand how to use fixed route. The travel training program is tailored for each individual and their specific needs. Darlene Little.
She was very happy about it. She's very good with a sense of direction. She does have a disability. She does need special training. She does need some one-on-one. She learns differently than most people do, but she's very capable of getting out there and traveling on her own. She was very excited about it. It made her feel proud.
This is Brian Cook, another travel trainee.
After I did the training, when I go out now, I think of my mother and my grandmother not having to help me anymore. Now I'm my own man now. I can go anywhere I feel like. As long as I make the right decisions, I have nothing to worry about, and more importantly, they have nothing to worry about.
Myth number 5. I have to pass travel training or I might fail travel training. RTA travel trainers work with participants at their speed and skill level. There is no passing or failing, just strengthening of skills. Suzanne Richards.
Whenever a trainee participates in travel training, they're taking a step forward in gaining their independence. So at that point, it's not about pass or fail.
Jason Brandt.
They stick with you until you get it right. And it's not a pass-fail, so don't worry about failing. It's not school, you don't get a grade in it, so have fun with it.
Myth number 6. I could be penalized if I do not agree to participate in the program. Participation is optional, but there is nothing to lose by participating in travel training. Training gives you the opportunity to learn and expand your transportation options. This is Richard Pofall, a travel trainee.
My trainer and my wife and I went to the Museum of Science and Industry from Des Plaines, and we used the train, the L, and the bus. And it was, quite frankly, semi-exciting, and it worked out just so very, very well. We found out we could actually do this. Didn't need to find a special way or just not think about going there anymore because it was so difficult to get there. But this was very, very easy, and I'm ever grateful for the fact that we did do the training. It opened up a whole new world to me.
Here you see Edward Wienand waiting for a train. He started out nervous about using CTA and Pace fixed route and Metra commuter rail until he went through the RTA Travel Training Program.
Scared getting on the subway system, scared getting on buses, curbs, just a little bit paranoia about the whole system.
Images of Edward using Metra.
When the trainer explained these, how we could get around these things and how easy they were to get around. And then when I actually physically got involved and saw how easy it really was, and with the trainer right there with me and saying, well, you can do this and you can do that. The encouragement, support that you get from the trainers is, they right there all the time. They're reinforcing, encouraging, go on. They're there, right there with you.
Suzanne Richards.
I've seen some individuals who are completely afraid about getting on the bus, not sure how they're going to interact with other people, afraid of noises, afraid of traffic, to feeling confident and comfortable with riding by themselves.
Images of trainees using fixed route.
I've seen some individuals with physical disabilities who aren't sure how they're going to maneuver their power wheelchair onto the bus, that after they had a garage visit where they practiced on a parked bus, they felt like they could go on any bus at any time. So it gave them total independence.
All set.
Albert Ramirez.
It did make me more comfortable. I wasn't really apprehensive, but going through the program reinforced how easy it is to take public transportation, and so I was really glad that I did that.
Edward Wienand.
They actually ride the system with us, and one-on-one, I want to reinforce that, one-on-one freedom, absolute freedom. You can come and go as you please.
Commissioner Karen Tamley.
I think many people with disabilities may be fearful of riding the buses or trains because they don't know what to expect. They're concerned about possible barriers that they might experience, disability-related barriers. And really the travel training program is designed to break down those barriers and make people feel more comfortable and more at ease using the system.
Independence, pride, self-confidence, empowerment, and freedom.
Images of closing graphics.
There are 4 ways to enroll in travel training. Mark yes in the ADA Paratransit Certification application when it asks you if you're interested in travel training. Request travel training during your ADA Paratransit interview appointment. Call the RTA ADA Paratransit Certification Helpline at 312-663-HELP 4357 and request travel training. If you use TTY, you can call 312-913-3122 and request travel training. For more information, visit the RTA website at www.rta-Chicago.com and click on the Accessibility tab.